Hello, my dear students. Today's lesson is about a topic which is having various cases, which is the graphs of functions. I found the best way to summarize it is to pick some various questions from my workbook, and I'll start by reminding you of the gradient of the curve. This word is highlighted here, the gradient of the curve. It means the gradient of the tangent to the curve. Repeat, it's the gradient of the tangent to the curve. Let's remind you about, you remember differentiation video? We spoke about considering your car going up the hill, like this case, if your car is going up the hill, so going up, then positive gradient, going up, then positive gradient, sliding down, then negative gradient, sliding down, then negative gradient, going up, then positive gradient. And then, what about the transitional point between climbing up and sliding down, which is the top of the hill? This top of the hill, the gradient is neither positive, the gradient is positive. And when you are sliding down, the gradient is negative. Climbing up the hill, the gradient is positive. So in between positivity and negativity, it is a zero. So when we take a tangent to the curve exactly at the top of the hill or at the bottom of the valley, at these 2 points where there is a smiley, can you see the smiley? And that smiley? So the gradient of the tangent to the curve at the bottom of the hill or at the top of the hill, it will be zero. So gradient of the tangent to the curve is zero. Gradient of the tangent to the curve is zero. Gradient of the tangent to the curve here and there is zero. Consider all this before we answer this question. Write down the coordinates of the points where the gradient of the curve is zero. He means the gradient of the curve. Implicitly, he should say gradient of the tangent to the curve. So he is concerned about the top of the hill and the bottom of the valley. So these 2 points, we specify them and we read the coordinates. What does he mean by coordinates? It means x and y of each point of them. The gradient of the tangent of the curve is 0 at x-axis, so it is -1 and 0. And this point is below x-axis, so it is 1 and -4. It is 2 numbers, 2 coordinates, and there is a comma between them. And we usually say the movement on x-axis first and then on y-axis. Write down the range of values. What's the meaning of range? It means an inequality. An inequality in which variable? Of x. He said so. Write down the range of values of x when the gradient of the curve is negative. There is only one part of the curve the gradient is negative between these 2 points. So to write it as an inequality, we write x lies between -1 and 1. This yellow part, but you are concerned only in x-axis. The next question, he drew already a function for you. This is the graph of a function, which is a reciprocal function. There is y-axis as asymptote. It approaches y-axis but never touches it because x is in denominator. So the diagram shows the graph of y equals x over 2 plus 2 over x for x from 0 to 8. Use the graph to solve the equation x over 2 plus 2 over x equals 3. Now we need to concentrate. This yellow box is the same, but there is something added to it equal to 3. It means this is a function which is y equals x over 2 plus 2 over x already drawn. And this is a function which is y equals 3, stretch your left arm, cuts y-axis at 3. Say y equals 3, cuts y-axis at 3. So you have to draw the horizontal line y equals 3. Okay, and after I draw it, when you draw this line, there is an equal sign between the two functions. This equal sign means a function and a function, and there is an equal in between. Where is this equal sign? This one. It means points of intersection. So a function, this one, and another function, y equals 3. And there is an equal between them. It means points of intersection. Points of intersection. All this from this simple equation, yes, because this black curve y is equal to x over 2 plus 2 over x is already drawn, and the line which we drew now, it's an additional line, which is y equals 3 cuts y axis at 3. The equal sign means these two curve and these two graphs, the curve and the line, they cut each other at 2 points. Now let's read them. These 2 points are the solution of the equation. Tuck, 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 tuck. You have to read x coordinate. Tuck, because what's the meaning of solve? Find the value of x. And you are solving by finding the value of x, but you are solving graphically. What's the meaning of solving graphically? It means you read with your eyes the values of x, which satisfies this equation by equating the two functions. When you equate the two functions, it means they have at 2 points the same x and the same y. But we don't need y because he said solve, find the value of x. Here he is concerned only x equals something or x equals something. Just read them and please take care of the scale. This is 1 block before 1, so it will be 0.8. And this is 2 blocks after the 5, so it means 5.2, 5.4. How to know the scale? You just say last, for example, here is 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here is 1. So it means between 0 and 1, how to divide them? You say last minus first over number of blocks. Say it, last minus first over number of blocks. 1 divided by 5, it means 0.2. So each baby block represents 0.2. Again, how to read this scale? Just 1 block before the 1, so it is 0.8. Subtract 0.2. And here 2 blocks after the 5, so you add 5 plus 0.2 plus 0.2, so as we said before, it is 5.4. Now, let's read this sentence. By drawing a suitable tangent, tangent means touches. Say it. Tangent means touches. Say it. Tangent means touches. You should hold your ruler and you touch the curve at the point we are ordered to touch it. By drawing a suitable tangent, work out an estimate of the gradient of the graph where x equals 1. So, where is x equals 1? Here is x equals 1. On the curve? Yes, on the curve. Hold your ruler and draw a tangent at this point. I'll draw now a blue line that touches. Does it touch at this point? No, it should be tilted. Does it touch now? Yes, it's fairly touching the graph. Now we have to read 2 points to find the gradient of the tangent to the curve. One of the 2 points is very nice. This point will be 3, 0. And the other point, I should read the point he ordered me to use, which is 1, something. 1, something. We need to read it on y-axis. Let's make it bigger. This point on the y-axis, the red point, is above the 2 by 1, 2.5 block. No, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 blocks. Okay? Each baby block reads also 0.2. So 2, 2.2, 2.4, 2.6. So it's 1, comma 2.6. You have to write the 2 points you chose, 1, comma 2.6, and the other point, which is 3, comma 0, and how to find the gradient. You name them x and y, 1 and 1, then 2 and 2. The gradient is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. 2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So 0, I'll write the rule first to make it safe for me when I substitute. y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. We have to expect that the gradient will be 0, will be negative, because the gradient is, the blue line is sliding down. When you come from left to right, it is sliding down, right? So it is negative gradient. Now y2 minus y1, it will be negative 1.3. Next question. In this question, we will learn how to read. The diagram shows the accurate graph of y equals f of x. It didn't mention whether it's a quadratic function, a cubic function, but it looks like a cubic function, of course, with humps. Use the graph to find f of 0 and f of 8. Usually the function is f of x. So the letter or the variable between brackets is x. So here between brackets x equals 0, between brackets x equals 8. So he means that at x equals 0, go and read y. And here at x equals 8, go and read y on the curve. At x equals 0, its y is, we have to consider the scale. Now here from 0 to 5, here is 0 and here is 5. Between 0 and 5, there are 10 blocks. So last minus first over number of blocks means 5 minus 0 over 10 blocks. It means 0.5 per baby block on y-axis. This is the y-axis scale. What about the x-axis scale? Let's read it. X-axis scale from 0 to 2, it is last minus first, and it's divided into 10 baby blocks over 10 blocks. So it will be 0.2 per baby block on x-axis. Now we have to concentrate in the scale because we need to read accurately all questions he needs. F of 0, it means at x equals 0, here is x-axis. At x equals 0, you go and read y, but on the point on the curve. So the y is 0.5 per block. So if every 2 blocks, it's 1. 1, 2, 3. So this point is 3, y equals 3. If you didn't understand this one, let's go to f of 8. F of 8, the number between the brackets is x. So at x equals 8, go and read y. Where is x equals 8? Here is x equals 8. You hit the curve and go read y on y-axis. It is 2 blocks before negative 5. It means y will be negative 4 because on y-axis each baby block is 0.5. So it is, let's check, 0 and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Correct. Now the next question is the opposite. Use the graph to solve. Say it, use the graph to solve. It means it's an equation. And what's the meaning of solve? Find the value of x. F of x equals 0. It means points of intersection with x-axis. How did I know? Because f of x equals 0, it means y equals 0. Y equals 0 at how many points on x-axis? Can you see this x-axis? It cuts the curve at how many points? Yes, 3 points. 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 3 points. You just read them. Read the x coordinate only. So f of x equals 0 means points of intersection with x-axis. Here I have a point, 1 and 2 and 3. Let's make it bigger. This point is, we said on x-axis, each baby block reads 0.2. So here is -2 before -2 by 0.4. It means -1.6. So this is the first one. X equals -1.6. The second one, it's exactly at the 2. X equals 2. The third one, after 8 by how many 0.2s? After 8, 1, 2, 3. So it's 8.2, 8.4, 8.6. X equals 2 is one of the answers, and X equals 8.6. It is the third answer. Now, what about f of x equals 5? Y equals 5, say it cuts y-axis at 5. This is a function and this is another function and equal in between, then points of intersection. We have to draw y equals 5. Draw the line y equals 5, which is a horizontal line, cuts y-axis at 5. Here is the line y equals 5. Okay, after I draw it, I search for the points of intersection. You tell me, miss, there is only one point of intersection. Yes, it's only one point of intersection. What's the meaning of solve? Find the value of x. And the word use your graph to solve, it means you just read with your eyes the points of intersection between the black curve, f of x, and the line, which is y equals 5. Remember, y equals f of x is this function, which is the curve. They cut each other at only one point. Let's make it bigger to see on x-axis, which is 0.2 per baby block. Always remind yourself by writing the x-axis scale and the y-axis scale. So now this point is between 8 and 10. It could be 9 point something. Just estimate it and then read it accurately. 9 point something. You should have sense. It is before the 10 by how many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 minus 4 blocks into 0.2. It means 10 minus 0.8. It will be 9.2. So here x is equal to 9.2. And then the very important question, which I call it the K questions. Question C. K is an integer for which the equation f of x equals k has exactly two solutions. Use the graph to find the two values of k. Remember that in all questions, he usually gives you an introduction to the strong question. So before going to this super question, we remember what did we do in question B. F of x equals 5. F of x is this curve. Y equals 5. It is a horizontal line. Y equals 5 cuts y-axis at 5. And here we have y equals k. We have to draw a line which is y equals k cuts y-axis at k, and it will cut the curve at two solutions. He said so. K is an integer. You have to say it. For which the equation f of x equals k has exactly two solutions. There is only one option. If you draw, I'll ask you and you will answer. If I draw this green line here, it cuts the curve at how many points? Yes, 1. If I draw this green line here, it will cut the curve at how many points? Yes, 1. If I draw it here, it will cut the curve at 3 points. But I need only 2 points. Okay, so it must touch and cut. This line is a tangent to the curve at this green line, touches the top of the hill and go there and cuts this arm. So it touches and cuts the curve at only 2 points, and you have to know y equals how much? Oh, it's y equals 3. Y equals 3 cuts y-axis at 3. He wants to find the two values of k. It means y equals 3 is not the only option. Oh, do you mean also the bottom of the valley? Yes. If you draw another line here that touches and cuts, so you got the perfect answer. There is another green line. Da, da, da. This line also is a tangent that cuts, that touches and cuts. Here is one point and here is the other point. Here is one point and here is the other point. All your mission is to tell me this line, the equation is y equals 3, and the other line will be y equals negative 8. How did I know negative 8? No, it will be negative 9 because on y-axis 0.5 per baby block. It's above the negative 10 by 2 blocks. So negative 10, it's above it by 2 blocks, so it is negative 9. So here the two values of k are k equals 3, there is the first one, and k equals negative 9, which is the second one that touches and cuts the curve. Now, question number D, part D. Write down the range. Range means what? We said it, inequality. Write down the range of values of x for which the graph of y equals f of x has a negative gradient. This is a repeated question. Negative gradient, it is this pink highlighted ramp. This pink highlighted ramp shows the sliding down part. Can you see this part? Okay. What is the range of values of x? You just read them on x-axis. Range means inequality. So the answer, you will write x lies between 0 and 6. Because on x-axis, this pink ramp, the sliding down negative gradient, starts from x equals 0 and ends at x equals 6. We write it as two crocodiles, this side. And you have to arrange them like small, medium, large. Say small, medium, large. 0, then x, then 6. Should be arranged like that between the two crocodiles. The last question, which is manipulation. I'm very concerned in this part, which it is it means if the student knew it, then he is a perfect student in math. It's easy, it's not difficult. The equation f of x plus x minus 1 can be solved by drawing a line on the grid. F of x, it's already drawn. About the x and minus 1, you just let them go, shift them to the other side. And now let's write what does he mean. Here, question E, f of x plus x minus 1 equals 0. We need to say a function and a function and an equal in the middle. A function which is already drawn, and here is negative x plus 1. A function and a function, and there is an equal in the middle. It means what? It means you have to draw. You tell me, miss, this is already drawn. Y equals f of x already drawn. What about this one? Y equals negative x plus 1. It's a line to be drawn. So you need to draw it by finding at least 1, 2, 3 points for 3 points on the line by assuming put x equals 0, put x equals 1, put x equals 3, for example. You fix 3 points and then extend the line, no problem. 0 plus 1 is 1, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So I have here 3 points on the line. You don't just draw it like that. You have to expect it's a line which is sliding down. It cuts y-axis at positive 1. So 0 and 1 is a point. Remember y-axis, the scale is 0.5 per baby block. So here is the point which is 0 and 1. another point which is 1 and 0, another point is 3 and -2, and then you use your ruler to connect these 3 points and extend. These 3 points are not enough. You have to extend with your ruler and extend the other side with your ruler. Okay, this line will cut. First of all, you have to write the equation of the line. You owe yourself this favor, please. Write it. This line, the equation is y equals -x plus 1. Okay, now a function and an equal in the middle, it means points of intersection with the graph f of x and this blue line. The 3 points of intersection are here. Here is 1, and here is 2, and here is 3. Actually, he doesn't want you to read them. He just wants to ask you, first of all, write down the equation of this line. You simply write y equals -x plus 1. And how many solutions? You find how many points of intersection? They are 3. You just write 3 solutions. That's all for today, but I continue with more questions from past papers. This question was from summer 2007, paper 4, and the previous one was from the old past papers. All the name of the exam and the season is written above each question in my workbook. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.